Howdy, everyone. Matt here. I got a question for you. How open minded should you be as a PT or PTA? Should you be completely open minded your entire career, or at some point does that start to kind of narrow up a little bit? Let's talk about that. But first and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Matt the PT, coming at you with another video on another topic of something in the physical therapy world. And that topic is being open-minded. And how open-minded should we be as PTs and PTAs? And I am including with dealing with treatment philosophies and principles and methods and philosophies, all of that. And, how open-minded should we be? Now, this really came about many years ago. A good friend of mine was an athletic trainer. And he had been an athletic trainer for many, many years. And he went back to get his doctorate in athletic training in his late 30s. So like I said, been a trainer for like 15 years when he went into this program. And we were chatting one day, and he said, Matt, and he goes, I'm having an issue with my dissertation. And he said, my instructors are telling me, he goes, you need to broaden out what you do, your treatments. You need to do more. And he said, I don't want to. No, that doesn't make any sense. He said, because I have been an athletic trainer for over 15 years. And he had at that point. And he had worked from athletes at the high school level all the way to the professional. So those entry, people, kids coming in, just learning a sport, to people at the top of their game and everyone in between. And he had said, he goes, I have seen in my time the things that they're telling me that I need to do for treating athletes. He says, I've used those. I've done those things. I've seen it in practice. I have seen that this is more effective than that. That's more effective than this. And he goes, they're wanting me to do those things that I tried 10 years ago and was utilizing for years with hundreds of athletes, thousands of athletes, and saw like, no, that's not as effective as this over here. So I understand that this is going to be better. But they're telling me, no, you need to broaden out. Now compare this to his classmates. He said many of his classmates were in their mid-20s that had just went straight through school, had not really been out in the real world working full-time as athletic trainers. They had just been working, because from my understanding is like when you're in the athletic training program, you're put with a sport. And so while they were working on their bachelor's and their master's and now the doctorate, they were just like part-time student trainers. And he said that they haven't been doing it as long as I have. And he goes, my professors are telling them, you need to narrow it down. He said, so yeah, I can see that they tell them no stuff. He said, but I've seen it. I know what it works. And this really got me thinking many, many years ago, what we should be. How open-minded as PTs and PTAs should we be? And I'm saying being completely open-minded versus not. And I don't want to say closed-minded. I feel closed-minded is very negative, that it's just like, nope, I'm just stonewalled up, just, nothing, that is completely wrong. And I'll explain what I kind of mean about this here in a moment. But I feel like I've gone along. And if you know me, I've been a therapist almost 15 years now. I have done many different certifications and coursework and, reading papers and talking with all of y'all. It's wonderful talking to all these people and learning new things. But I find myself as I go along is that there are times when I feel like, I don't need to be open-minded about this, because it's especially with social media stuff coming out all the time about, this treatment and that treatment and this thing over here and that. And it's like, you question it. And it seems like one of the first lines of defense that somebody has about some treatment or something to somebody when this gets questioned is, you need to be open-minded. You need to be open-minded about it. And that's a defense on it. And I do believe that. I do see that, to say like, yes, teach me about it. Tell me about it. And this is where I feel like it turns from being open-minded to not. It's when you educate yourself about it. and that you reach a level of education and understanding and knowledge in something is when it goes from like, yes, I'm open-minded about it, to saying, no, I'm not open-minded about it. And that's what I really feel like it is, that it's, you don't have to be when you're educated well enough. Now, I will say that little area kind of turns into a combat zone as well, because you have to get both parties to agree on what level of education knowledge is acceptable to say, yay or nay against it. And that always kind of fluctuates up and down, because you got to get both parties to agree, like, okay, you have to have this much knowledge of here to say, yeah, like this. Like, I've had people, in with what I do. If you know me, I am a diplomat in MDT, and I've had people talking about MDT in certain ways and or saying negative things about certain things. And I say, just recently I had somebody doing that, and I'm pointing out to say, no, you're not knowledgeable in it enough to say that. You've seen some points, and I'm like, no, you're not knowledgeable enough to say that. And he's arguing with me about it, where it's like, look, I have spent the years in it. I have the highest level of education in it. Aren't I considered the expert in this area? Whereas you don't, that you had never taken even a course of it. And it seems like he pointed the point, well, all I got to do is just buy the Treat Your Own Back book, and that's all I needed to do. And it's like, okay, so that shows that you're not very knowledgeable. Then he got a little upset when he was talking about all this stuff. I said, well, apparently from everything that you do, people can just look up a YouTube video and do the exact same thing that you. And it's like, okay, so you see, like, that's kind of the same thing. But again, when do both parties get there? But that's what I really do believe. It's not being as open-minded with something is like, when you're able to defend it, when you're able to defend your position with good quality evidence. And it's not this like, well, because this is dumb, it's like, no, here's really good quality evidence that shows that what you say is not correct. And there are better things. Now, this turns into a very difficult thing with like the general population, because I'll be honest, there are all sorts of things. And I really believe that the general population, that there's a good number of people that think that there's a magic pill out there. And when I say the magic pill, of just whatever, like there's that thing out there that's just, fixes everything in a snap, that it's out there and it's just gate kept and they're just bouncing around. And when they find something and that you point out, no, that's really not it. That's not really the answer. They'll say, first off, you're not open-minded enough. And when you keep going, that's when they'll say, like, they attack you with you're just being closed-minded. When it's like, no, here is the evidence that will show. Now, again, saying yes or no on that, you do have to have a happy medium between saying, with them understanding. Because if you do get really emotional, you're not going to, I would say, argue, but you're not going to conversate in the most what is it? You're not like in sound mind. If you're very like angry, you're not going to be thinking clearly. And I think this goes to the other side as well. I mean, you may have somebody with the treatment, another therapist out there that believes that like ultrasound is the best thing to ever do for back pain. When it's like, well, that's really not. And they're saying, well, you need to be more open-minded about it. And it's like, well, look at all this evidence that shows that that's really not the best. And again, they could, are they going to be open-minded about looking at that evidence? And that's part of it too. Are you open-minded about seeing the other side of it? And I believe that's part of it. You got to be open-minded enough to see what are the negative aspects of it. What are the other side of it? What are those other things about it that don't make this so good? Because I think as well, everybody believes what they do. Oh, it's great. You need to be open-minded. Okay, well, you need to be open-minded about the negative things about it, the things where the holes, where the gaps are. So if you can be open-minded and correct those and defend those and believe that. And I know there's probably going to be a McKinsey comment in there, and that's a discussion for another time, but I'm very happy to talk with anyone ever about that. But I would hope, and I would say to you, what is your opinion about this? I hope that you do keep a level of open-mindedness about things. I've been seeing some crazy things come out. I think social media, people just come out with just whatever out there, and there's some just wild stuff. And when again it comes up, well, hey, well, I don't think that's really correct. Well, you need to be more open-minded about it. Well, considering that there's no evidence on this, and what you're seeing kind of goes against the basic principles of physiology and biomechanics and anatomy, like, okay, like, yeah, why are you not open-minded about those aspects of it and find, whatever? What do you feel about it? Do you feel like, yes, we need to be open-minded about everything, that everything is good, or do you say, no, as I go along and learn about it, it narrows down, because again, another thing I'll bring up, I do think a lot of treatments are possibly effective for people. However, with some of them, it gets very, 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 very specific, and it may not even be a benefit of time to learn certain things for such a small population of people. And then also, again, why do people get better? Sometimes they just get better on their own. Yeah, I'm fully willing to accept that. Yeah, sometimes people just get better. They just need somebody to talk to, and they need to move, and then they get better. Whatever. Cool. Yeah. But yes, let me know your opinion. Should we be open-minded through your whole career? Does it start to narrow down? When does it start to narrow down? And how can you have that good conversation and educate people when somebody is trying to attack you, and to say, like, you need to be open-minded, and then, oh no, you're being closed-minded? How do you go about that? Talk about that. So, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch a video. Thank you for the likes. If you enjoy the video, of course, hit that thumbs up button. And please share your opinions, beliefs, all that. Share that down in the comments below. Consider subscribing to the channel. It doesn't cost you a copay or anything like that. And like always, take care of yourself. Take care of your patients. I'll see you next time.